gee, every movie up to that moment that Hollywood ever made, not independent.
In 1978, Animal House hit theatres like a whirlwind, igniting a cultural phenomenon that broke all the rules of comedy and college life. Directed by John Landis and produced by Matty Simmons and Ivan Reitman, the film introduced audiences to Delta Tau Chi, the ultimate party-hardy fraternity at Faber College. From the unforgettable toga parties to the chaos of Dean Wormer's war on the Deltas, Animal House redefined the college comedy genre with its unapologetic humour and wild antics. But what fans might not know is that some of the movie's most iconic moments were born out of pure accident and on-the-spot creativity. One famous line about the Germans bombing Pearl Harbor wasn't scripted. It was a spontaneous twist that became a classic. In this video, we're diving deep into the wild, behind-the-scenes stories that brought Animal House to life and how a little improvisation made comedy history. Animal House, a comedic revolution that almost never happened. Introduction to a chaotic legacy. In 1978, National Lampoon's Animal House burst into theatres, capturing the spirit of rebellion, irreverence, and sheer chaos. As one of the first true college comedies, it depicted the hilarious and anarchic lives of Delta Tau Chi, a fictional fraternity at Faber College in 1962. Directed by John Landis and produced by Matty Simmons and Ivan Reitman, the movie wasn't just a comedic hit, it became a cultural phenomenon, inspiring countless imitations and setting the standard for college comedies. However, the making of Animal House was nearly as turbulent and chaotic as the movie itself, filled with casting controversies, improvisational genius, and an infamous script that no one in Hollywood initially wanted to touch. From its inception to its release, Animal House was a bold, risky venture that went on to redefine the comedy genre forever. The birth of Animal House, a long shot from the start. The story of Animal House started with a trio of creative forces from National Lampoon: Harold Ramis, Doug Kenny, and Chris Miller. Originally written as a satire based on Miller's own college experiences, the script went through multiple drafts and revisions, moving from a concept focused on high school delinquents to a fraternity-based comedy set in the early 60s. Despite the writer's pedigree from National Lampoon, a popular humour magazine at the time, the film faced resistance at every turn. Studios were sceptical of its dark, edgy humour, and many were outright uninterested. Tim Matheson, who would later be cast as Delta leader Eric Otter Stratton, described Universal Pictures' initial reaction as hesitant at best. They didn't see the vision, the humour, or the potential impact the film might have. It was young Universal executive Sean Daniel who pushed hardest for the movie, fighting an uphill battle to get Animal House greenlit. Casting battles and creative control, a star-studded dream. Deferred. The casting process for Animal House was as turbulent as the film's narrative. Studio executives wanted recognisable stars, ideally from Saturday Night Live, which was rising to prominence with comedians like Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd, and John Belushi. The writers had even tailored characters with these actors in mind. Chase, initially considered for Otter, and Aykroyd for D-Day, would seem like natural fits. However, John Landis was wary of stacking the cast with SNL members, fearing that the movie would become overshadowed by the reputations of established comedic personalities. Landis, known for his unique approach and strong opinions, wasn't about to give up creative control. In an attempt to subtly dissuade Chevy Chase from joining, he steered their conversations toward emphasizing the ensemble nature of Animal House, which likely left Chase feeling that the movie would not be a suitable vehicle for him. The role of Otter eventually went to Tim Matheson, who had to prove himself more than once. Known for his television roles, Matheson wasn't Universal's first choice due to his history of cowboy-type roles. He was initially cast as Omega President Greg Marmalade, but he declined, driven by his desire to embody the effortlessly cool and rebellious Otter. After a spirited audition alongside actor Peter Riegert, who would play the loyal and sardonic Boone, Landis offered Matheson the role on the spot, recognising the chemistry and charm Matheson could bring to Otter's role. Creating the Delta bond, setting the stage for comedy. With the main cast finally assembled, including the iconic John Belushi as the chaotic Bluto, production moved to the University of Oregon in Eugene. The cast arrived a week before filming, allowing time to forge the camaraderie essential to their fraternity personas. Staying at the modest Roadway Inn, the group bonded quickly. Their first night's dinner was both an icebreaker and the foundation of the Delta spirit. For Matheson, this was also the night he met Belushi, who, despite his larger-than-life SNL fame, was welcoming and down-to-earth. Their friendship was pivotal, as the Delta actors soon became genuine friends, bringing authenticity to their on-screen relationships. Belushi's warm personality became the backbone of the cast's bond, as he effortlessly drew people in, supporting them both professionally and personally. Known for his spontaneity and infectious enthusiasm, Belushi quickly became the heart of the Delta group, connecting with each cast member. Though he was known as a live wire on set, he was also genuinely concerned about everyone's well-being and dedication to their craft, creating a familial bond that echoed the fraternity brotherhood portrayed in the film. Controlled chaos on set, the magic of spontaneity. John Landis ran a tight ship on the Animal House set, keeping the crew focused despite the movie's chaotic subject matter. Though the Delta House was known for wild parties and the film featured excessive drinking, Landis was adamant about professionalism. The actors, including Matheson and Belushi, followed his rule of no real drinking during shoots, with the alcohol replaced by near beer and tea. The discipline paid off, but there was one day a week when Landis allowed the cast to relax and let loose. Unsurprisingly, these moments added to the group's camaraderie and off-screen mischief. The set's unofficial party hub was Bruce McGill's D-Day room, which became legendary among cast members. Kevin Bacon, a young actor playing a pledge from the rival Omega House, remembers feeling like an outsider, uninvited to the Delta's wild gatherings. Belushi's performance as Bluto included some of the film's most iconic moments, many of which came from improvisation. His line, "Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor?" was a stroke of comedic brilliance that was neither scripted nor pre-planned. Landis saw the comic gold in Belushi's delivery and urged him to keep going. This improvisational style became a hallmark of Belushi's role, with each take bringing new surprises, giving Animal House an unpredictable edge that thrilled audiences. Iconic moments. From paddles to toga parties. Throughout Animal House, certain scenes captured the chaotic spirit of the Delta House and elevated the film's humour. Kevin Bacon's Chip Diller, enduring the Omega fraternity's initiation ritual with the now iconic phrase, "Thank you, sir, may I have another?" added a satirical edge that parodied traditional fraternity rites, underscoring the film's satirical view of authority and submission. The character of Otter, with his sarcastic United States of America gentleman during a disciplinary board scene, further cemented the Delta's irreverence toward authority figures, a sentiment that resonated with young audiences across the country. One of the most unforgettable moments came from Otter's flirtation with Dean Wormer's wife in a grocery store, using vegetables as suggestive props. Matheson's performance was as brazen as it was charming, capturing Otter's shameless audacity and cementing him as the ultimate Delta playboy. The scene embodied the film's appeal to youthful rebellion, giving audiences a laugh at the expense of social norms. The cafeteria scene, food fights and fraternity unity. The infamous food fight in the cafeteria became the movie's most recognised scene, encapsulating Animal House's love of anarchic comedy. Set against the backdrop of institutional rigidity, this moment epitomised Delta's refusal to conform. The actors enjoyed the freedom to let loose in what became a symbol of the film's carefree philosophy. As plates, food, and chaos erupted, audiences were treated to a scene that would become synonymous with college comedies, a moment of unrestrained joy and rebellion that resonated with viewers for generations. Beyond the screen, Animal House's cultural legacy. When Animal House premiered in 1978, it was more than a box office success. It was a cultural revolution. The film's unapologetic portrayal of rebellion against social structures tapped into the countercultural sentiments of the late 70s. Bluto's line, "My advice to you is to start drinking heavily," became a rallying cry, immortalizing Animal House in dorm rooms and fraternities nationwide. The idea of double secret probation, coined by Dean Wormer as an absurd punishment for Delta House, became an enduring phrase for the arbitrary nature of authority. Belushi's Bluto, in particular, became the mascot for anti-establishment humour. His comedic genius, combined with Animal House's expertly crafted script and spontaneous performances, set a high bar for comedies to come. The Toga Toga chant during the Delta House's wildest party scene immortalized the Toga Party as a staple of college culture, and Delta's chaotic pranks and devil-may-care attitudes transformed the film into a timeless reflection of youth's free-spirited idealism. An unlikely triumph from rejection to box office glory. The initial hesitance of Hollywood executives to back Animal House is a testament to its unconventional nature. Without Landis's creative control, the push from National Lampoon, and the support of its cast, the movie might never have been made. The collaboration, improvisation, and willingness to push boundaries culminated in a film that continues to shape the comedy genre. Animal House wasn't just a movie, it was a celebration of youth, rebellion, and the enduring power of laughter. The cast and crew's dedication to capturing the spirit of Delta Tau Chi ensured its place as one of the most influential comedies of all time. The enduring spirit of Animal House remains an icon, a celebration of wild youth, camaraderie, and the comedy of defiance. As Matheson once said, "I think the audience loved the characters because they were guys they wished they could be. And as long as there's a need to laugh at authority and celebrate rebellion, Animal House will live on as a beloved relic of unapologetic humour and joyous anarchy." The production of Animal House, an inside look at the chaos and magic behind the film Animal House, stands as one of the most influential and enduring comedies in cinematic history. It helped to redefine what a college comedy could be, injecting it with a blend of irreverence, wild humour, and rebellious spirit that captured the essence of youth culture in the 1970s. While its success on screen is well documented, the story of its production is equally fascinating. Filled with eccentric behaviour, real-life rivalries, and outrageous antics that mirrored the chaos of the Delta Tau Chi fraternity portrayed in the film. The wild party atmosphere, cast members immersing themselves in their roles. One of the most unique aspects of Animal House's production was the cast's immersion in the world of college fraternity life. John Landis, the director, encouraged the actors to live and breathe their roles, particularly the members of the Delta fraternity. This led to an unpredictable and often dangerous real-life blending of fiction and reality, as the cast members fully embraced their personas both on and off the screen. One particularly notorious incident occurred when the actors, eager to experience the real-world college party atmosphere, decided to attend a frat party at the University of Oregon, where the film was being shot. What began as a simple attempt to mingle with real college students soon escalated into a chaotic and physically dangerous encounter. The actors were invited by a group of college girls to a mixer at a wealthy jock fraternity, but as soon as they arrived, the evening took a turn for the worse. The fraternity brothers, inebriated and hostile, began hurling insults at the cast. What started as verbal jabs quickly turned physical when James Widdows, who portrayed Hoover, threw a beer in retaliation, triggering a full-blown brawl. Fists flew, chaos erupted, and the actors found themselves in the middle of a physical confrontation. Widdows nearly lost his teeth in the melee, while Bruce McGill, who played D-Day, ended up with a black eye. However, McGill, perhaps embarrassed by the true nature of the altercation, lied to director John Landis about the cause of his injury. Instead of admitting that he had gotten the black eye in a drunken fight with real fraternity members, McGill claimed it was the result of a rough football game. The truth about the frat party fight was eventually revealed, adding another layer of absurdity to the behind-the-scenes drama that would come to define the making of Animal House. The freeway motel party scene. After the physical altercation, the cast and crew decided to shift their partying activities to their side of the freeway, where they were staying at a nearby motel. The atmosphere in the motel was no less rambunctious. One rainy night, they discovered an old piano in the lobby of the motel and decided to liberate it, transporting it across the parking lot and into Bruce McGill's room. The piano became the centerpiece of what could only be described as nightly raucous parties, complete with liquor, music, and the kind of smoke that suggested the cast was very much living in the spirit of their on-screen counterparts. Director John Landis, who acted as the parental figure on set, refrained from joining in the debauchery, maintaining a distance from the cast's antics. However, the parties became a crucial method of getting into character for most of the actors. Kevin Bacon, then a young actor just beginning his career, recalled feeling like an outcast. As the youngest member of the cast, Bacon was not as involved in the partying and often found himself isolated from the rest of the group. His experience mirrored his character's role in the movie, where the members of the Delta fraternity stick together and shun outsiders. This divide between the cast members playing the good guys and the bad guys mirrored the dynamics between the characters, with the Delta boys, the film's protagonists, sticking to their own group, and the Omega members, portrayed as the antagonists, being treated as adversaries. John Landis took an active role in fostering this sense of separation before filming even began. He instructed the actors playing members of the Delta fraternity to meet and bond for 5 days before shooting started. During this period, they were told to call each other by their character names and decorate the Delta house with graffiti, further strengthening their bond as a group. The actors playing the Omega fraternity members, who were meant to serve as the primary antagonists in the film, arrived later and were immediately treated as outsiders. Mark Metcalf, who played the pompous and authoritarian character of Niedermeyer, vividly remembered being pelted with food by the Delta members in order to stay in character. He was so committed to his role that he chose to remain in his motel room, listening to the chaos of the parties downstairs while plotting his on-screen revenge. John Belushi, a different approach to immersion. While most of the cast members were throwing themselves into the wild party lifestyle that mirrored their characters, John Belushi, known for his legendary off-screen antics, took a more restrained approach to the film's production. Belushi, who played the iconic character of Bluto, was housed in a suburban area far away from the motel's temptations, along with his wife Judy. Despite needing to travel back to New York each week to film for Saturday Night Live, Belushi managed to stay sober during the production of Animal House. This marked a stark contrast to the behaviour of his character, who, as the epitome of rebellious, intoxicated youth, spends much of the film in a state of inebriation. John Landis, who had worked with Belushi previously, attributed the actor's sobriety during the production of Animal House to his deep commitment to his first major film role. Landis noted that Belushi's focus and dedication to the character of Bluto were instrumental in the development of the film. However, Landis would later remark that Belushi's behaviour became more problematic during the filming of The Blues Brothers, when his substance abuse issues spiralled out of control. the inspiration for Delta House, real-life fraternity chaos. The inspiration for the Delta Tau Chi fraternity and the outrageous behaviour it exhibited on screen came largely from the real-life experiences of Animal House writer Chris Miller, who drew from his time at Dartmouth College. Miller's fraternity, Alpha Delta Phi, was notorious for its wild behaviour, and he openly admitted that the film's depiction of the fraternity lifestyle was based on his own experiences. The real-life Alpha Delta Phi was infamous for outrageous pranks, bizarre behaviour, and outrageous acts of defiance against authority. While many of these stomach-churning stories didn't make it into the film, they helped shape the outrageous tone that would later define Animal House. At Dartmouth, Miller's fraternity was known as a vomiting cult, with its members eating strange foods in order to produce specific types of regurgitation. This absurd and grotesque form of hazing would never make it into the film, but became the kind of wild inspiration that shaped the ethos of the movie. Miller's fraternity was eventually faced with disciplinary action due to their rampant behaviour, including serving alcohol to underage students. The real-life fraternity's behaviour was even more outlandish than what was depicted in the film, and it helped set the stage for the chaotic, anti-authoritarian humour that would come to define Animal House. The unconventional casting process. The casting of Animal House was as unconventional as the film itself. Many of the actors were relative unknowns, eager for any opportunity to break into the business. Mark Metcalf, who secured the role of Niedermeyer, famously lied about his horseback riding skills in order to land the part. Stephen Furst, who played the lovable Flounder, got his big break in Hollywood by delivering a pizza with his resume tucked inside the box. Kevin Bacon, still a relatively unknown actor at the time, was cast after a casting director saw him working as a waiter. Bacon's smarmy attitude was the perfect fit for his character, Chip Diller. Tom Hulse, who played Pinto, took on his role to break away from his more serious work in theatre. He was at the time starring in a play and wanted a change of pace, something more light-hearted and fun, which ultimately led him to Animal House. The success of the film gave these unknowns the platform to launch their careers in a way that would be almost impossible today. A rejected script becomes a classic. Finding a college willing to host the filming of Animal House proved to be more challenging than the filmmakers had anticipated. After being rejected by several universities, the production team finally got the University of Oregon to agree to host the film. Interestingly, the university didn't even bother to read the script. This decision would prove to be fortuitous for the filmmakers. The university had previously rejected The Graduate for its risque content, and its president didn't want to miss out on the opportunity this time. If the university had read the script, it's possible that the film would never have been made due to its much more outrageous and crude content. Despite its ultimate success, Universal Pictures was initially skeptical about the film's potential. The studio provided the filmmakers with a modest budget of under $3 million, reflecting their lack of faith in the project. However, this modest budget and the creative freedom it afforded allowed Animal House to flourish in its own unique way. The filmmakers had free rein to create whatever they wanted, including setting up a makeshift office at Universal's New York studio, where they engaged in outrageous behaviour that mirrored the anarchic spirit of the film. Doug Kenny, a co-founder of National Lampoon, famously defaced fine artwork in the office by drawing rats with a ballpoint pen, while actor Tim Matheson famously stole a priceless painting from the studio during the production. It wasn't long before the creative chaos of the production bled onto the big screen. Final thoughts. The production of Animal House was a perfect storm of creative chaos, eccentric personalities, and unbridled enthusiasm. The movie captured the rebellious spirit of the youth culture of its time and cemented itself as an iconic piece of comedic cinema. The legacy of the film continues to live on, not just for its humour, but for the larger-than-life production story that reflects the madness behind the making of a classic comedy.